My guest today has helped produce over $23 billion in revenue. He's been inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame. He's written 16 bestsellers in 25 languages. And he can talk about prosperity without making it sound like a pyramid scheme or a meditation retreat. Randy Gage, welcome to the Sales Show.
Hey, great to be on with you, Simon.
Most entrepreneurs, they're not underworking, they are over-believing the wrong thing. The level of revenue you attract is downstream of the identity you accept of your being. So change the identity, the revenue follows. Refuse the identity work and no funnel on earth will save you. You are the entrepreneur whisperer. What is the one thing entrepreneurs lie to themselves about?
Wow. Well, you just hit on a few of them, really. There are so many entrepreneurs who are just working their face off, hustling, grinding, and they're wondering why they're not getting the results they want, because they are over believing in some myths, some even lies about entrepreneurship. Now, don't get me wrong. I think any true entrepreneur, we have phases in our existence where we got to work our face off. You launch a new company, you're working 18 hours a day. That's what entrepreneurs do. But if your company's been around for a year or 3 years or 18 years and you're still doing that, that's a problem. Because when we launch businesses, we should be creating self-managing businesses.
Self-managing. Tell us more about that.
Three questions I think every one of us should ask when we launch anything. How do I automate this? How do I systematize this? How do I scale this? And if you force yourself to ask those questions and really delve into the answers, you're going to come up with some extraordinary systems and processes. It might be key people. It could be AI agents with the way it is now. It could be other things, but you should be able to take time off from your business. People should be able to, what's the name of your new book?
Time
Unlimited
freedom. Time freedom.
Unlimited freedom. Yeah. People should be able to get that as entrepreneurs. And I don't mean after 50 years that you grind away and then finally you sell your company, because those people come to me in my coaching program, right? They've sold their company, millions of dollars. They have no idea what to do with their life. First of all, they've destroyed their health because they were so busy making money, they didn't take care of themselves. So now they, even though they could travel anywhere in the world, it's too much grind, it's too much hassle. They've destroyed their relationships. They could go anywhere, do anything they want, but they have nobody who wants to do anything with them, right? Or hopefully I catch them along the way before that happens. And, they've got all the toys and the bling bling and everything, but they realize, wow, my kids couldn't pick me out of a police lineup. Or, man, my spouse doesn't even want to talk to me. Or I'm 2 Big Macs away from my next stroke. And some of the people, like I have clients that I have to teach them how to take a day off. And it could take me 6 months to teach them that. So then we could graduate ultimately to like the PhD level lesson of, hey, here's how you take a vacation. Here's how you have a no devices day. Because they're so wrapped up in the grind and they don't realize, no, you're just creating a higher paid job or a slavery scenario with better benefits. But if you're an indentured servant to your business, that's not an ideal life. That's not, as you know, my book launched the same day of yours, right? It's called Wealth Without Guilt, Without Apology. And it's about this whole concept of holistic prosperity. Yes, money and material things are part of that, but particularly for entrepreneurs, we can't think that's the be all end all. In the book, I lay out 4 quadrants of prosperity, and I think we have to have that the holistic version of prosperity.
Let's go into those 4 quadrants because I'm thinking a lot about this myself. I'm 46. In my 20s, in my 30s, I pushed to build something up, and I was good at saving. Well, first I was good at closing deals and bringing money home, but then I learned how to save and keep and have a high savings rate. And now I realize, what am I gonna do with all these savings? My kids are growing so fast. What are the actual
Yeah.
experience that I can have with them right now, rather than, I'd rather die with zero and have built memories and experiences. So right now I'm unlearning and I'm learning how to make experiences. So let's look at those 4 quadrants. What's in there other than money?
Yeah, so the first quadrant where money and material things belong is, I just title it resources. Second category quadrant is pretty self-evident, wellness,
Mm.
health and wellness. The third quadrant, I clarify it as harmony,
Mm.
meaning you have mental harmony, you have clear thinking, you have it, your brain hasn't been denigrated to the attention span of a gnat on double espresso because you're watching 400 12-second Instagram clips every minute free of your day. You have concentration. You have, for some people, this is spiritual. Other people, it's religious. Other people, it's secular. But you actually would take a walk in the woods or a walk around the marina or meditate. You're comfortable in your own skin. And the final quadrant is significance, meaning you're working to make sure that the world is a little bit better, at least because you were here. So it might be philanthropic, it might be mentoring people, it might be just helping create a more ideal future for humanity. But those 4 quadrants together, that's how I define prosperity.
I love that. And where do you find people struggle most?
For the entrepreneurs, I don't know if there's one over the others, but it's the 3 that aren't money. The entrepreneurs, because they understand free enterprise, they're all in on money and material things. They know, okay, money is going to be it's going to be the echo or the thunder to the lightning of entrepreneurship or whatever. The two are very related. And they get that and they expect that and they've set their mind up for that. But some it's the health, others, they just maybe they have good genetics and health isn't an issue till much later in their life. So it ends up being the relationships. Uh, and usually the significance one comes with age. It just doesn't really lock down with people, most people, I think, until they're 50 or 55. And they realize, wow, that horizon in front of me is much closer than the horizon behind me. At some point, I'm going to the big startup in the sky. And I want to know that what I did had some meaning. I want to know it matters. Maybe they've got grandkids by that point. Maybe they've seen their kids going out in the world and repeating some of the same mistakes they made that they wish they wouldn't have made, and that they wish their kids would have a more balanced view of life. They've got the money thing out of the way usually. So now they're thinking about philanthropy and starting a foundation or starting a movement or just doing something. So I think it happens different areas for different people at different times. But the one constant is for entrepreneurs, they get the money part. Whereas people who are not entrepreneurs, sometimes they don't get that part. They're
Mhm.
just mired in poverty
Mhm.
because they think it's noble or spiritual to be poor, and they've never deprogrammed themselves from those negative, toxic beliefs about money.
So we have to go to the identity level. How we work? How do we do that?
For you guys, I know most people are walking their dog or doing the treadmill or something, but for you guys taking notes, take this note. Your income will never exceed your self identity. So if you've been buying into all the bullshit on social media and the billionaires shouldn't exist, we need a billionaire tax, billionaires are evil, you'll never achieve the level of your greatness because your self-identity won't allow it. I see this with speakers, coaches, consultants. Their self identity is they grind, they struggle, they're working hard, they're road warriors, and they make 250K a year. That's their self identity. And if you give them an opportunity, let's say $1 million contract for something, they're going to self sabotage it because their self identity says, "Oh, I'm not the kind of person who gets $1 million contract."
Mm.
They're riddled with all these subconscious, the book actually has a couple of deep chapters on the mind viruses and the negative programming we get. Money is bad, rich people are evil, it's noble or spiritual to be poor, to be successful career means you're a terrible parent. If you're running a big successful company, it means you must be exploiting your employees and pillaging the environment and conducting questionable practices. That's all mind viruses that most of the people are infected with. So on this conscious level, they're saying, of course I want to be rich. Of course I want to be healthy, happy, successful. And they're working toward it. But when they get to that self identity level, which they don't even know is there, they self sabotage.
It's hard to see, right? Even especially if it's your own. How do we see it?
The premise of the book is that there are 6 main areas in your life where you develop beliefs that are vital to a healthy, happy, prosperous life. And the premise is you get programmed, your beliefs, you inherit them by the time you're 8 years old. So you're not doing this by conscious reflection, critical thinking. Your mom and dad argue all the time. One cheats on the other, one is abusive on the other. Your core foundational belief about marriage and relationships is set before you're 8 years old. You don't know you said it. You didn't realize you created this mold. But all of a sudden, at 37 years old, when you're blowing up your marriage, you say, and your therapist tells you, wow, it seems like you're repeating the pattern of your mom and your dad. And you're like, what? Are you crazy? You think I'm blowing up my marriage at 37 because of something I learned when I was 7? And the answer is, yeah. So it's money and success, health and wellness, sex and sexuality, God and religion. So all of these areas, we reach our beliefs that create our operating system. Because every one of us on earth is running an operating system. Most people are running a poverty conscious operating system. So until and unless, this is really the crux of the question you ask, and that's what I'm hoping my book is a real catalyst for people, that they'll go back and say, okay, wait a minute. Let me identify what are my core foundational beliefs in each of these 6 areas. When did I develop them? who gave them to me, and have I actually questioned the premise? And when you do that and say, wow, I really do think that rich people are evil. And here I'm doing all this work trying to become wealthy. And I had no idea that I have this subconscious operating system that says, hey, Jimmy, or hey, Mary, you better stop doing what you're doing right now, or you're going to become one of those evil, mean, nasty rich people. And it's like a governor on your accelerator pedal that you can't, so you get an opportunity. Somebody comes along and says, hey, here's this company called Amazon or Nvidia or Apple, and you can buy the stock for $15 a share. You say, a company like it's too good to be true. And if that was real, no, but everybody would have already bought it. So you pass up opportunity like that. Or if then you actually do get a breakthrough and you do go above that self-identity level, then you find a way to self-sabotage yourself. And everyone listening should know, I know this because I am the world's preeminent expert on self-sabotage because I did it for 35 years.
Who didn't, right? Who didn't? I find myself even now having phases of scarcity thinking where I think, no, I have to hold everything so tight. And because otherwise we lose everything. And then, and I remember in my 20s, I went for years without any scarcity thinking. Everything was available, I thought, abundant, flowing in, flowing out. But now, 46, sometimes I'm whole days, whole hours, whole weeks in scarcity thinking. If we catch ourselves, how can we move from scarcity thinking back to abundance?
For a couple of years, I kept a rubber band on my wrist and
Mm.
just snapped myself
Mm-hmm.
every time I caught a scarcity thought. Then I stopped wearing the rubber band and I just tapped my forehead.
Mm-hmm.
That's my internal signal. Oh man, that belief is not serving me. That thought isn't going to take me to where I want to go. And I literally, when I say something out loud, I will cancel it out loud. I'll be in the middle of a conversation with
Mm-hmm.
someone and I'll say, yeah, I always have a hard time doing such
Mm-hmm.
and such. And then I'll say, oh, no, no, wait, cancel, cancel. Let me rephrase that because I don't want to program my subconscious mind with that limiting belief. Until this point, up to now, I had difficulty accepting such and such. Or until this point, you know, da 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 da. And so I'm literally catching myself and bringing it to the attention of my subconscious mind.
That's
So
powerful.
I'm course correcting in real time.
That's powerful. We can rewind like a DJ, like rewind, stop. I cannot do this yet.
Right. And what happens if people read Wealth Without Apology, I'm warning you up front, it's going to diminish your enjoyment of every book, movie,
What?
TV show, play, opera you ever experience for the
What?
rest of your life. Because I'm going to show you how infected they are with subconscious subliminal programming
Mm.
that's negative, right? So if you like hospital shows, started first one was ER back when I
Oh
was a
yeah.
kid, and
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
now we've got Chicago Med and The Good Doctor and Scrubs and what. If you like hospital shows, I guarantee you every other season there will be a plot line where a rich person or a rich corporation buys the hospital and they want to stop treating poor people and they only because it hurts the profits. And so the noble doctors are going to revolt against the new ownership because they want to help these poor these homeless people who have schizophrenia and can't get treatment, or this young, poor single mom who can't get her pregnancy check in 3 months and 6 months because she doesn't have insurance. And it'll happen over and over and over again. And just so in the book, I mean, I take you through the tropes, the formulas, and I show you. So you can take a movie like the original Alien. What is the plot of
Mm.
there? The evil rich corporation who's going to kill millions of people because they want to bring these alien home and make money. That's the plot of Aliens. What is the plot of Avatar? The evil, greedy
Mhm.
corporation is going to go to this planet and pillage and plunder all the resources, and they don't care if they kill off all the people. What's the plot of the next Avatar? The same thing. What is the plot of, and I could just show you the same plot. So I go into a movie and I'm like, just like you, I'm eating my milk duds and my popcorn, and I want to, and then I go, oh shit, I know exactly how, I could go to Jurassic Park 11 or whatever the latest one is. And remember, there's the big glass ride that the kids are in, and the dinosaur is trying to eat them, and everybody's shrieking in the theater. And I'm like, of course, the dinosaur's not going to eat the kids. The kids are the star of the movie, they're the sympathy factor. But the guy with all the guns, that's the guy who's going to get eaten first. And then when we get to the climactic part, or the ultimate finale where the good versus evil, it's always going to be the most rich person in the movie is
Mhm.
going to be the one killed by the dinosaur or the monster, or, what's the theme of Jaws? The rich people who don't want to shut down the beach and lose the tourism dollars. So let's pretend the shark isn't out there. I mean,
Mm.
Law and Order, Chicago Med, just any movie, any TV show.
Mhm.
It's just, I joke about that if Hollywood had any sense, like they just with some movie came out now that it's going to lose like a couple $100 million. I
Mhm.
can't even remember the name, but I saw it on X yesterday. And I'm like, why did the studios do this? If they would just send me the script and a $50,000 check, I will read the script and I will tell you if the movie's going to be a hit or not. And it won't matter who's starring in it, if they get a big A-list star or a D-list star. If the plot is right, which is it panders to our limiting beliefs about money and success, it's going to be a blockbuster hit. And it's literally that easy to predict. And when people read the book, they're blown away because they're like, oh my God, how did I not see this pattern before? And I can do it with Puccini operas. I can do it with Greek mythology. I can
Yes.
do it with
E-
whatever.
everyone. Are there any that ditch this pattern and are actually abundant and without this pattern?
Yes. Yes. Those are the ones that get canceled.
Mm, which one?
Anyone. If here's an example, I'm reading a Hollywood trade paper, and they're talking about the movie that The Rock was in. About they remade Towering Inferno, and Rock was the star of it, but instead of a fire, it was like terrorists trying to take over the tower to get some nuclear. I don't remember what they were trying to get, but the movie bombed. And I remember reading the review, and they said maybe people are just tired of The Rock because he's doing so many movies, he's had so many blockbuster hits, he's probably overexposed. And I laughed because I had seen the movie. I love The Rock, and I love his movies. And I know why the movie failed. The movie failed because the guy, the billionaire who owned the skyscraper, was working with Dwayne Johnson to stop the terrorists. So instantly, I know that movie's going to flop because nobody wants to see a movie with the billionaire as the hero. If they
Mm.
would have changed the script so that the billionaire was the evil mastermind, the movie would have been a hit. And to prove it, all the next movies of The Rock did great. He wasn't overexposed at all. He's still one of the best. They call him Viagra for franchises. Like when a franchise starts to, like the Fast and the Furious franchise, when the
Yes.
ticket sales were going down, they put The Rock in there and all of, boosted back up. Uh, so this
Yes.
is how deep and insidious this subconscious programming is for all of us.
Without trying to enter politics, I'm thinking about the last year on X, since you mentioned X. I noted a shift actually that the last year on X, it is it is okay to be successful. And many entrepreneurs went on X and are more active on X because it's actually a positive thing to be successful, to even be a billionaire, to move things forward. Are you experiencing such a shift?
Well, here's what I would say about X. I think it's one of the most toxic programming sites in the world and is contributing to a lot of unhappiness, outrage, and fear. And what you say is exactly true because X is the platform where tech leaders, Silicon
Yeah.
Valley people go. So Elon is on there, Horowitz is on there, and Andreessen is on there. All the tech stars, if you will. That's the platform where they go. So there is a celebration of free enterprise there. And there is, call it tech Twitter. But at the same time, tech Twitter is 10% of Twitter, and toxic Twitter is the other 90% of X, where it's just people trolling. And it's like, I have a friend I call it X brain. If you spend too much time on X, you get X brain. So, like, I have a friend who's a dear friend. So he sent me like 3 or 4 texts in a row on Sunday morning, and he's a big Trump guy. So he wakes up every day and looks for kooky, crazy, liberal people doing stupid things on X and sends them to me. Like I have another friend who's a total woke liberal guy. He wakes up every day and looks for crazy, kooky things that MAGA people
You
do
should
on
connect
Twitter,
you
and he
should
sends me.
connect them.
They're connected. They fight like cat and dog, trust me. And I have to tell them both, don't send me this shit. I don't want it. So it was literally Sunday. He sent me like 4 in a row. And so I checked the weather in his city where he lives. It's a perfect day. So I wrote him back, why are you sending me this shit? Obviously, you woke up this morning and said, I need something that's going to outrage me and make me feel superior to the rest of the world.
Mm.
So you went on X and you started doom scrolling. Now, I just returned from walking around the marina. It's a beautiful day. I just checked the weather in your town. It's a beautiful day there. You have a beautiful family. Turn off the phone and go out in the real world. Okay? Because the business model of X is I need to make you afraid or I need to make you outraged. And that's the business model of Truth Social, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, every one of them, other than I think YouTube is the redeeming one there, right? So that's just the business model of how they survive. So I'm on X because I follow Naval Ravikant, I follow Andreessen, I follow these critical thinkers, but even with them, you'll see, oh man, they're getting infected with some X
Mm.
brain.
Mhm.
Um, Take the guy, Ackman, Bill Ackman. Uh, he's so infected with X brain. He retweets more crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy theory stuff, and he's just vehement. And what happens is you get on, and then you say, "Oh, I need to have an opinion on everything that happens in the world." That's why I don't follow Elon. who's the most visionary entrepreneur of our time. But his stream is so toxic and negative because he's got this platform, and no matter who you are, you're going to see his, even though I don't follow him, they still send his tweets into my stream. They always find it. They switch me over to the For You thing without asking me, or because someone I follow replies to Elon. He gets his tweets in everyone. So he knows he's got 300 million people. So if there is a building collapse in Miami and he hears about it, he's got to have an opinion on it. If somebody posts a new paper on caribou migration in Canada, he's got to have an opinion on it. If somebody posts a review of, spoken art poetry in Detroit and he sees it, he's got to have an opinion on it. That's what I see with Ackman. That's what I see with the X-brain people. And that's where I felt I was headed when I was a power user on that platform. And then I realized, no, I don't have to have an opinion on everything. And when I do, all it does is outrage me and clickbait me, and I'm not building. I need to be building. I don't have time for all of this distraction and fear and outrage because when I'm doing best and I'm scaling my business and I'm enjoying my life in the best way, I can do deep work. I can sit down and write for 3 or 4 hours, right? You can't do that if you're you have your phone pinging with all your updates and breaking news and all that stuff.
My way is I build something for a few hours and then I post it on X. Guys, I built something.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Like for me, for social media, I'm a creator. I'm not a consumer anymore. Because even the people that like I really do respect and want to know more, I still see they're so infected and they get dragged into arguments with the trolls and the negative people and the haters. And I just don't want that. So I'm on X about 10 to 15 minutes a day, posting my stuff, reposting stuff that I think actually adds value to the dialogue. And then I get my links there. Oh, there is a long form podcast interview with Mark Andreessen. Let me click that, open the browser session. I'll read that during my lunch break. Or, oh, so and so is a guest on Stephen Bartlett's CEO podcast. Let me click that link, open it up. I will look at that later, right? I don't allow myself to get into the doom scroll because your attention, your creativity, your peace of mind, it all vanishes.
This is powerful. My last question, walk us through the prosperity operating system.
Yeah, that's the difference, I think, between the work I do and like this book versus because people are going to be kind of shocked when they read the book. It's not a money book. I'm not saying, hey, stop buying Starbucks coffee for $7. You can make your own coffee at home for 32 cents and take it to work with you. And stop getting Grubhub delivered. You make your own bologna sandwich at home. Listen, there's plenty of books out there. The world didn't need another book like that from me. The world needed a book about the psychological dynamics of wealth and prosperity. And to really understand that, you got to go in and look at that operating system and then say, okay, what are my input in there? What is my mental diet? What is my food diet? What is my liquid diet that I'm using to program this operating system? What were the core foundational beliefs which designed this operating system? Now, let me question the premise. Do those beliefs serve me or do they take me backwards? And so I have an entrepreneurial coaching program called Breakthrough You. I have a blog, I have a podcast, and of course, the new book. It's all woven together in here's how you create a prosperity consciousness driven operating system for your life.
I love that. Where can people find your program?
All right, so randygage.com is kind of my Starfleet command site. Blog is there, Breakthrough You, which is the Entrepreneur Accelerator program. Podcasts are there for all the books. Amazon is probably the best place for that.
Go to Amazon, guys, buy the book. I'm gonna buy it right now after this. It's Wealth Without Apology by Randy Gage. Amazing, Randy. I love this work. This is so much needed. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your processes, your knowledge, your presence, your energy with us today. Please come back soon.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks for bringing me in. Hey, everybody. Peace.
Keep rolling, man.